keep winning, winning. I'ma keep winning, winning. Ooh. I'ma keep winning, winning. You can try to save yourself, keep winning, but you only go.
What's going on, guys? JK, I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be going over the top 5 Senior Bowl fallers. So yesterday I did a video on all the Senior Bowl risers that took place, all the guys that improved their draft stocks. If you haven't seen that, please go back and watch that on my channel. But today I'm going to go over the guys that didn't really perform up to expectations and were kind of decreased their draft stock a little bit, or just didn't meet up to the expectations that we thought they were going to have. But before we get into it, please make sure to like the video, comment down below anything you agree or disagree with, and subscribe to my channel to keep up with NFL content, whether it's the NFL Combine coming up, free agency, the Super Bowl, and the NFL Draft. So, jumping into this, a lot of people, obviously, when you go to the Senior Bowl, you're expecting to kind of show out and improve your stock. Not necessarily these couple guys. It can also backfire on you, like some of these guys that did as well. So, moving on to the next one. Number one, the number one guy that kind of hurt his stock at the Senior Bowl was Jalen Milroe. As we seen with Jackson Dart, the you can either incredibly increase your draft stock or incredibly decrease it. Jackson Dart went the other way, and he's seen as almost like a fringe first round pick. Jalen Milroe came out, and he didn't really have the best days. He was kind of inconsistent. He had a lot of bad decision makings, and if you've seen clips on Twitter, there was a couple balls that were just kind of thrown straight at a defender when he was trying to squeeze it into a tight area. So this was kind of seen at Alabama as well. He tried to use a lot of, of his legs to create a lot of plays is what he had to do. And every once in a while you'd see that flash of who he could be or who he was. But most of the time, it was very inconsistent play. It was kind of like similar to what Anthony Richardson did this past year for the Colts. One play he looked great. He looked like the Heisman Trophy winner. Next play on that same drive, he might look like somebody that shouldn't even be starting at Alabama. So it's really like inconsistently in that system they needs to go into. Before he got there, he was kind of seen as like a day two pick, a second or third round pick, somebody that could take a flyer on him and kind of develop him, kind of similar to Jalen Hurts' situation when he went in round two to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now he's seen more as a day three pick, in my opinion, maybe like a fourth round guy, early in day three. I wouldn't take him in the second or third round. I would just kind of wait it out and see. Maybe it being a weak quarterback class might benefit him, and kind of just, trying to make him, increase, his spot in that system. But I think he's more of a round four type of guy now in the day three with the inconsistencies that he showed, his bad decision making with throwing it right at certain guys, and increasing the picks, and not necessarily his great ball placement. He definitely hurt his stock at the Senior Bowl. Moving on to the second one. The second guy that kind of hurt his draft stock was Wyatt Millum. He was kind of seen as a second round guy that could possibly leak into the first round. He was seen as more of a guard than a tackle, and he was kind of expected to hopefully come up and raise his stock and kind of solidify himself in the first round. He definitely didn't do that. He struggled a lot in his one-on-ones, and he was out leveraged a lot. Yeah, he wasn't really playing as low as possible in his one-on-ones, getting kind of pushed back into the quarterback. And there was a lot of instances where it just kind of looked like he was just struggling in these drills. And as somebody that's seen as a guard more than a tackle, it was somebody you were kind of expecting to come out and hopefully show some of his great technique that he has at West Virginia to be able to go against some of these first round prospects like a Shamir Stewart or a Walter Nolan on that interior of the one-on-ones. But he definitely kind of struggled, and it definitely hurt him. I think he's more of a late day two guy now, and he was kind of hoping to get into that first round area, but he was mostly seen as an early second round guy. I think he's more of a third round guy right now, and this maybe he boosts it back up in NFL Combine in the meeting rooms, but I think he's definitely gonna take a hit in his draft stock a little bit with his hands usage and being out leveraged in the one-on-one drills. Moving on to the third guy. The third guy that kind of hurt his stock was Landon Jackson. He did have a good day on Thursday. He was kind of seen similar to Wyatt Millum. It was kind of in that day two area that was hoping to come in and boost his stock into the late first and solidify himself as a first round pick. Now, he did kind of struggle a lot. I think now he's kind of just solidified himself in the day two area in the second or third round, maybe early second, middle second. But I don't think anybody's really going to be taking a flyer on him in the first round now after his performance on the practices. He was really hoping to be able to show one of them late first round teams that he definitely needs to be in there. A lot of times he was rushing from a wide nine technique that was way out in the one-on-ones, and kind of his balance and a bendiness didn't really show. He was on the ground a lot, and he oftentimes got outpowered by the hand placement of the offensive lineman. He's definitely a weird kind of in between type guy that you're really hoping to show more power in that case, and in his bull rushes and certain instances like that. He didn't really rush a lot from the wide nine, so that kind of messed with him there when he was trying to show it off at the Senior Bowl to kind of prove to these teams that he can play that wide nine technique coming off the edge, instead of that tighter edge presence. But I think he definitely proved that he's not going to be able to do it as well, and he's going to take more time to need to develop that, and needs to stay in more as that closer edge pressure. But he definitely doesn't show the bendiness that you need out of the edge rusher. He kind of struggles with that athleticism a little bit, and him just being on the ground and losing his balance in certain situations is definitely going to cost him against certain NFL prospects. Moving on to number four. The number one four guy was Harold Fannin. He's one of the big tight ends that had a lot of hype. Now, this tight end class and this draft is very stacked, and Fannin didn't necessarily have a bad day or a bad week at the Senior Bowl, but it was more of everyone else and all the other tight ends rising up. He showed his ability, but he didn't necessarily excel in one area. He kind of was like he was okay at receiving. He wasn't the best there. He was pretty good at blocking, but he wasn't the best blocker there. So he was kind of in the middle of all the different, aspects of the tight ends. And especially with the other tight ends rising up, like Arroyo from Miami, he had an amazing day. And Harold Fannin was kind of seen as the number three tight end going into this week. And a lot of those guys behind him at 4, 5, and 6 of the tight end class definitely caught up to him. And there's not as much of a gap of him being tight end three. It could be one of the other ones kind of coming up now. And he was kind of seen as a day two pick. Now I think he might be an early day three or even late day two pick in the like late third round. Somebody taking him there. And like I said, it wasn't necessarily him and how he played. He had a decent week. He just didn't go out and kill it like a lot of us thought he did. A lot of us thought he was going to be having a dominant performance, not be able to be covered in one-on-ones, and be able to show pretty much all of his skills in the tight end area. And he did okay with it, and he had a decent week, but he just didn't excel, and it allowed all the other tight ends to pretty much go out, show all their skills in the receiving work and the one-on-ones, like Miami's Aurora, and kind of catch up to Fannin to kind of create that question and go back and watch film. Like, is he really that much better than all these guys? Is that big gap necessarily? Is he the number three tight end in this NFL class? So a lot of that's pretty much the issue with this. Oh man, it's pretty much how he goes from here. I think the combine's gonna show very well with his route running was kind of questionable this week. So if he can come out in the combine and show his great hands and route running and a lot of those receiver drills, I think he could potentially raise his stock back up. But after this week, he definitely struggled with a lot of his receiving route running, and with him not necessarily being the best blocker there, it kind of, definitely brought him down to closer to everybody else. And number five was Dion Walker. He was kind of considered a day two pick. Now I think he's more of an early day three, late day two, maybe a fourth round type guy, maybe an early third round type guy. He was somebody at the beginning of last year, whenever everybody was doing way too early mock drafts, he was seen as like a top 10 pick. And when you look at the Senior Bowls, his measurables were great. He's huge. He is lengthy. He's just a pretty much a freak, just huge guy, kind of how Jordan Davis was a couple years ago for the Philadelphia Eagles. But when you look at his clips and a lot of his film from the Senior Bowl, he definitely struggled a lot with one-on-ones. With someone that size, you're pretty much looking to, if you're bull rushing somebody, you're looking to pretty much dominate him and push him straight back into the quarterback with the size that he has. And that just wasn't shown. He was out leveraged a lot. There was a famous clip of Deion Walker, who was huge, huge measurables. I think he's like 6'5", and he's just weighs a ton and super lengthy arms. But he was able to get stonewalled and blocked by a 5'10" defense, a Division III offensive lineman that was there at the Senior Bowl, and that offensive line was able to anchor on him, and then he couldn't do much else after that. And it was really the technique of the center of the Division III offensive lineman that was just way better than Deion Walker, and he wasn't able to use his strength against them. And that really makes you question and makes them fall down draft boards if a 5'10" Division III offensive lineman, who is very good, don't get me wrong, but if he's doing that against him and can't push him back, what is he going to do against somebody like a Cam Jurgens or a Creed Humphrey or somebody like that who's an all-pro center? He's not going to be able to get past them who are 6'2" and able to have these all-pro techniques to be able to show who they are and that they're one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL. So him struggling with that really is going to be the difference maker, and I think he's just going to fall down boards with people questioning his great size that he has, but what's his conditioning? What's his strength? Is he going to be able to play all the time, or is he going to be more of a spot run defender that's just going to try to hold his ground and, just clog up the run gaps? So I think that he definitely could have did a lot better to improve his stock, but just the way he showed and not him being able to just bully guys with his size and him not having a quick pass rushing moves on the interior. He's more just like a guy that's just going to come in and block the gap and clog up the gap. So that's really going to be questionable for a lot of NFL scouts. It's going to cause him to fall kind of into that third, fourth round area. But these are my top five followers of the Senior Bowl week. If you liked anything you agreed or disagreed with, please make sure to comment down below. Please make sure to like the video if you liked a lot of my takes, and make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up with the future NFL content that I'm going to be having. And thanks for watching.
Yeah, feel like John Morant. Need a triple double. Told him check the stats. Yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball. Now I never fumble. I'm the MVP. Now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant. Need a triple double. Told him check the stats. Yeah, I got a couple.